We were talking about Mark and his relationship with the Apostle Peter this morning, and I wanted to go just a little bit earlier in the passage that Randy read for us and kind of notice some things that were going on in the garden right before the soldiers came up to arrest Jesus. This is in Mark 14, beginning in verse 43. Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, Rabbi, and kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. Then one of those standing near drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. Am I leading a rebellion, said Jesus, that you have come out with swords and clubs to capture me? Every day I was with you, teaching in the temple courts, and you did not arrest me then. But the scriptures must be fulfilled. Then everyone deserted him and fled. A young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus. When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. Several of you know Kelly, my best friend. We've been best friends now. This will be 40 years next month. So I need to make a trip to Texas, and you need to take me fishing. Hopefully he's watching. Back in the day, we were both chasing the same girl at Eastfield College. Neither one of us got the girl. We got each other, and that's worked out probably way better anyway. But we got into the habit of going bowling. I had a class on Wednesdays at noon that was just a perfect time for Kelly and I to go bowling. And so I flunked that class, but my bowling average went really, really high that semester. So we would go, and there was big town bowl lanes, and we would go bowl a couple of games, and they had free games for students, and it was a cheap way to get entertained. Well, I, in those days, wore shorts almost all the time. My mother had made me shorts to wear playing tennis, and that particular day I had on a pair of green tennis shorts and an old t-shirt, I'm sure, and rented bowling shoes when two girls came to the lane next to us that I thought were really cute. So I told Kelly, I said, watch this. So I went over and I said, hi, my name is Jay. And one of them kind of barely looked up from what she was doing and said, how nice for you, and just went right back to what she was doing. So 40 years later, Kelly reminds me of that day and that occasion and that girl, bless her soul. I wonder what kind of conversations Peter and Mark had later years. They were both in the garden, both close to Jesus. We find out from John's writings that the guy who took out his sword and cut off the ear of a servant of the high priest was Peter. So Mark's got a little ammunition. Well, you went nuts and cut off the guy's ear, and Jesus had to put it back on. And then Peter's got, well, you ran away naked. So both of them have some ammunition. But all in all, you know what they talked about the most. 3 days later. Right? That was a bad night. It was horrible. We were all scared. We didn't know what to do. But 3 days later, Jesus came back. And that changed everything. So their friendship for the next ever how many years wasn't based in being terrified in the garden. Their friendship for the next 25 years plus was based in a resurrected Savior who gave them both the power to go on living and do great things in the kingdom. So whatever it is that we've done, whatever our past may hold, there's always that next day. There's always that next opportunity, because Jesus is risen from the dead. We can go on and do great things in the kingdom.